Hey y'all. This episode was very interesting to me, and I'm just going to give y'all this little warning. I'm about to go in. Now, I'm not disrespectful. At the end of the day, I'm just being accountable to God, and I always want to conduct myself in that way and with grace and class, things like that, because I don't believe in berating, these people on TV that we watch down, things like that. But I have to be honest and give my full opinion. And this episode kind of bothered me with two specific connections, and especially one. So I'm about to go in a little bit. So excuse me if I get a little loud, but some things that I saw in this episode is very unacceptable. So I'm just letting y'all know right now. I said what I said. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Bree. Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my episode recaps. And as always, I'm here to discuss Ready to Love Season 9, Episode 11, titled Family Ties. All right, y'all, let's get into it. So we start this episode off with the ladies meeting up with Tommy at the lounge. And currently right now, y'all, there's 4 women left. So we have Mika, we have Vanessa, we have Patrice, and we have Maya. Those are the women that are left. So basically, y'all know the season finale is about to come up. So we're definitely down to the wire. So anyway, Tommy comes in and Tommy lets them know that this week the women have to introduce their connections to their families. So the girls are like, yeah, like, I don't know, Tommy, about that. But they should already know. I mean, especially if they've watched like the show, they kind of know once you get to like the final 4 or 5, you do start introducing your connections to your families. And I don't know if they told them that too once they've been cast for the show, that is definitely a possibility that that's going to happen. So we'll see. And so I'm not too sure because I'm just looking at my notes. I think Tommy said they have to eliminate a connection this week. So they all have to make a decision. So anyway, it was really nothing there. So anyway, in a new scene, we see Mika. She's going to introduce Justin to meet her dad. So of course, they meet at a restaurant and Justin arrives and her dad is already there with Mika. And so basically, her dad, Bill, starts going in already. And so he starts asking Justin, like, how many girlfriends do you have? And what's your intentions with my daughter? So, Justin's answering the questions and he let it be known that he hasn't been in a relationship in a few years. You know what I'm saying? And so he's just letting her father know that. And so they're talking. I think it kind of went well in my opinion. And so Justin, of course, leaves. And so, of course, Mika asks, like, Dad, what do you think? So her father says, I think that Justin is authentic and he's thoughtful and he seems like a pretty cool cat, but have patience, going into this situation. Basically, don't rush it, feel him out, see how he is, and, just take it from there. So Mika does, think about it, and she's definitely, thinking like, yeah, I'm going to take your advice on that one. Because she has some concerns that, Justin hasn't been in a relationship in years. He doesn't have children. So, I kind of need to see how this going to go. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, next we jump on over and we find out that Vanessa is going to introduce her sister Gwen, who flew into town to meet Chaz. So Gwen and her sister are at a restaurant and Chaz arrives. So in his confessional, he says that he has like mixed feelings about meeting Vanessa's sister, but I guess he's just going to roll with the punches. So Vanessa's sister, Gwen, starts, asking him questions. And she asked him, like, how many women have piqued your interest? So Chad's going to say that, basically in the beginning of the process, out of the 11 women that were there, 10 of them piqued his interest. And then he says that he felt very deeply for Vanessa, and he knows that Vanessa wants to be, oh, I'm sorry. So after he says he felt very deeply for Vanessa, Vanessa then says that she wants to be loved out loud. So then, y'all, then Vanessa brings up in front of her sister, and she says to Chaz, she's like, you know, when we were on our getaway, you know, Tommy's getaway, did you text everyone, good morning, beautiful? And so Chaz, you know, says, I think he says yes. But then he starts tripping up saying that Vanessa is his only one now, but there is someone else too. And I'm like, Chaz, like, what? How are you going to say, oh yeah, you're my only one, but there is somebody else? Like, boy, stop. Like, didn't I tell y'all how Chaz was from episode 2?
Wow, son. Wow. That's crazy, yo.
Like I said, y'all better get in those comments and, you know, be like, you know what, Bree? You were right, girl. You peeped it from day one. As soon as he was on camera, I told y'all, I just knew it about Chaz. Anyway, I'm not going to go on my rant about that. So anyway, basically the date was cool or whatever. You know, Vanessa's sister was going in a little bit, you know, as she should. But I know Vanessa's sister was picking up things about Chaz. So basically, Vanessa asked, you know, sis, what do you think? So she does tell her, she's like, I don't feel like he's stuck on you like you are with him. And so Vanessa is agreeing. And I'm like, yes, he can sit there. And you know what? Chaz knows how to play Vanessa. He feels like all he has to do is say a few words, say a few sweet nothings, and then he got her, because that's how she clings to him. Chaz is not serious about Vanessa. He's already telling us as the audience he has mixed feelings about her, which means she's not the one for him. And I don't believe he's into her. I believe he's attracted to her physically, but he's not into her at all. And Chaz, honestly, I don't even think he's that sold on anybody left in the process. If anything, I feel like his mind would be somewhere else with another woman outside of these cameras. But what do I know, y'all, right? So anyway, in a new scene, we see Patrice. She's going to introduce Alonso to her brother Emmanuel. And then we learn she's going to introduce Chaz to her mother and her brother. But that's like going to be 2 separate dates. So anyway, first we see, so first we see, I think it was Emmanuel and Alonso and Patrice meeting and everything. And so her brother starts asking Alonso questions. And in a way, y'all know how Alonso is. He's very playful. And so her brother tells him, you know, you cool or whatever, but you're a little too playful and you're just being goofy. And so Alonso's like, oh, okay, like, let me straighten up. Then, of course, the scene jumps over to Emmanuel and Patrice's mom meeting Chaz. And so Patrice's mom says that she has concerns about anyone coming into her life. And so when Chaz arrived, she asked him, you know, do you consider yourself wealthy? And he says, yeah. And then she says, you know, well, how did you obtain that wealth? To me, I just felt like that's something you shouldn't have asked. I just felt that was a little intrusive. Just me speaking. So you can tell like Chaz was a little taken aback by that question. And so Patrice turns to him. She's like, you know, she just wants to know if you're a drug dealer. And then she's like, no, I'm just kidding. So they all start laughing about it, right? So, of course, you know, the date with Patrice, Alonso, and her brother Emmanuel, it was cool or whatever. And so, you know, Emmanuel says, you know, it's nice meeting you, but, you know, I do have to go. And so, of course, Patrice is like, you know, what do you think about Alonso? So he says, you know, Alonso's cool, but he can't go with the flow too much, because, you know, Alonso always says, you know, I'm just going with the flow. You know, I'm just seeing how this all works out. And so her brother is like, he can't really be in that mindset. You have to be intentional about who you're dating. If you want a future with this person, if you want to make them your wife, you can't just be going with the flow. So then the scene jumps over to Chaz's date with her family, and it went well. And so, of course, he lets them know he has to go. And so Patrice is asking, hey, Mom, what do you think about him? And so she says that Chaz is respectful, but then her brother says that, he's cool, but that whole family thing got me like, I don't really like that. And the reason, y'all, why he's saying that is because they were talking about family. And so they asked Chaz, are you close with your siblings? Because we find out that he has like 3 brothers or something. So he's like, I'm not really close with my brothers, but I'm really close with like my friends. And so Patrice lets him know like, well, I'm close with all my brothers because she's the only girl, and that they're a tight-knit family. And so him saying that, it got Emmanuel's gears going like, I don't really like that he's not really family oriented. Not that he's not family oriented, that he's just not close with his siblings, I guess. So I don't know. So next, we see that Maya is going to meet up with LaRon to meet her mom at a restaurant. So Maya arrives there first, but before we get into that little thing, we learn in Maya's confessional that her and LaRon met up at a club the other night and they got into it. So I'm glued to the TV like, girl, what you talking about? Y'all got into it. So she says that a guy that she knew came up to her and they started talking in the club. So, of course, LaRon got mad and he went over there to start some drama. So she says that he was yelling, calling her all kinds of B's, saying F you, just being disrespectful. And I was like, hold up. Now, I kind of see, I'll say this. Remember a few episodes ago when Koshia was on there and he saw her, mingling with other guys or whatever at that party they had, the pajama party, and how he kind of was feeling some type of way about it. And so from there, he was showing signs of jealousy. But this night that he met up with Miss Maya, he took it to a whole nother level. So his true side started coming out. So I'm like, hold up. I know this disrespectful person did not sit up here getting jealous, calling you B's, saying F you in front of all these people. I don't care if it wasn't in front of anybody. So you disrespectful. So to me, those are all red flags, right? I'm going to get back into it. So anyway, she lets us know that in her confessional, right? So as Maya is sitting down at the restaurant waiting for her mom and LaRon, her mom calls her on her cell phone and says that she can't make it and has to reschedule. Now, y'all, I'm sorry, I got to tell the truth. I felt like that scene was staged. Honestly, what I think is once Maya got back from that little interaction she had with LaRon at the club, I think she was like, you know what, Mom, it's a wrap. Scrap that. He is not meeting my mother. He's not meeting no family member because he's disrespectful. So, Mom, I need you to kind of like call me on camera to make it seem like you the one that canceled it because I don't feel like hearing LaRon's mouth. And so we just going to make it seem like you are the one that had to reschedule it.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
But to me, y'all, it kind of felt staged. I don't believe that her mom couldn't meet up. I just think it was like once she got into it with LaRon, she made up her mind, like, you're not meeting my mother. Like, no. As she should. But if it was me, and I could be wrong, but if she really did stage that, I would have told LaRon straight up, you ain't meeting my mother, period. You're disrespectful. But you know what, I'm getting too far ahead. So anyway, that's what her mom does. So LaRon arrives and, she lets him know that, unfortunately, my mother can't make it today and I have to reschedule. So in a way, you could tell LaRon wasn't even buying that story. And I think he was like, I think Maya doesn't want me to meet her mom because of what happened the other day because I was just wilding. So Maya says, well, I'm going to ask you some questions that I know my mom would ask you. So she says, do you feel like you're being possessive already? And so he's like, well, I can get, jealous and kind of mad. And so I'm like, Maya, he's telling you already that he's jealous and he got some type of anger problem. Girl, no. So we learned in Maya's confessional that, she's been around aggressive men before and she has been in an abusive relationship. So I'm like, Maya, you see all the signs? Like, no.
Absolutely not. Hold on, wait, let me fix my wig and myself, because I'm so tired of everybody talking about some, hold on.
So, Maya and LaRon are talking, and he apologizes to her and says that he wouldn't do it again. Girl, no, there's no way. Of course they're going to say that. You need to run, Maya. These are all bad signs. God is showing you, like, absolutely not. If he would do that and he did that in front of other people, God only knows what LaRon would do when you're not in public, behind closed doors. And I'm not putting nothing out there or anything, but these are strong signs. Like, you don't know if this person would do anything further than be verbally abusive. So absolutely not. And Maya, you need to run. These are all bad signs. They ain't even no red flags. Like, it's beyond that point. He called you out of your name. He being disrespectful. And you got a jealous problem and you're possessive? Absolutely not. No, you need to get away from him right now. Anyway, y'all. So in a new scene, we see Mika and Justin go on a date. And basically, Mika says that she just wants to go on a date, to talk to Justin about, are you even ready to be in a relationship? Do you even know how to? Because, you haven't been in a relationship in years. So they start talking. And she basically lets him know, like, I'm not clingy, but I don't want to be going 4 to 6 hours and I don't hear from you. And, I'm trying to see you or whatever. So Justin lets her know, he's like, look, I do like my time to myself, but it's not going to be to the point where you don't hear from me for hours or for a day or two. So she gets a little reassurance about that. And so they're cool and they have a good date overall. Next, we see Vanessa and Chaz go on a dinner date. And, Chaz arrives and Vanessa, lets him know that her sister said that he seems manipulative. So he's like, manipulative? Like, what is she talking about?
I don't need no lecture from you, but I have to conduct myself in this house.
So basically, Vanessa explains further about what her sister means. And so all of a sudden, here comes Chaz rapping to her, right? Because, he just got Vanessa around his little finger and he knows it. So Vanessa says, like, well, I think that, oh, no, I'm sorry. Well, basically, she's talking to him about, how she feels like you got all these women and you're not really paying attention to me like that.
I told you it was a legitimate mistake.
So he says, you feel more deeply for me than I feel for you. That's BS. And I'm like, Chaz, stop. Like, see, I don't like these game playing. And I could see right through Chaz. And I saw it through episode 2 when we were introduced to him. Like, girl, anyway. So then he starts wooing Vanessa, right? So he gonna say to her, I want to walk into your temple. No, I'm sorry. He says, when I walk into your temple, I worship you. And I'm like, boy, stop. Like, what? And so, of course, Vanessa getting all giggly. And I feel like Vanessa had an agenda when she went to meet up with Chaz, like, tell him about himself. Like, you're not going to disrespect me. You need to make a decision. But as soon as he started trying to run game on her, it's like that completely went out the window of, I think, what she really, really wanted to tell him deep down inside. So she lets him know, I need to see more effort. So he starts charming her, y'all, and she starts falling for it. And so he says, I'm falling for you deeply. And then she tells him, I really like you. And I'm like, Chaz, stop. You are not falling for her deeply because you just let us know in your confessional that you have mixed feelings with her because you're not ready to make a decision on who you're going to pick as your number one. And now all of a sudden you're falling for her deeply when, oh, and check this out, y'all. Vanessa even told us, well, she let Chaz know. She was like, I haven't even heard from you since you met my sister. So how in the world you talking about you falling deeply for somebody and they haven't heard from you? And I'm assuming it was maybe a few days in between this date. So he know he needs to stop. And it's like, girl, Vanessa, he is playing you. I really do not believe Chaz is all into Vanessa. I don't. I just think he's physically attracted to her. And maybe there's some like sexual tension there. And that's it. I do not believe he's going to make her his girlfriend. Even if he does at the end, y'all, because y'all know next week is the season finale and they make their decisions. Even, let's just say, he does pick Vanessa, I don't believe after the show it's going to work. I just don't. But anyway, next, we see Patrice and Alonzo go on a date. It was really nothing there. Basically, Patrice wants to know, can he be serious? You know, the same old thing with Alonzo. But overall, they had a good date and they had fun. So next, we see the ladies meet up with Tommy at the lounge, and they all let Tommy know about how their dates went when they met their families, you know, the connections. So they're all telling him all that good stuff. So then Tommy says he's making the decision to not let anyone go home this week. So I was kind of shocked, but the ladies were relieved. And he basically says, you know, he wants to give everyone extra time to think over their decisions. I think Tommy feels as though, I don't think you guys are ready to let somebody go just yet, because I feel like you guys maybe have unanswered questions. You want to see more from your connections. Like, you guys aren't too sure yet. So I'm just not going to let anyone go home yet. So then he says he's going to invite them to his Ready to Love barbecue, so that everybody can connect, get to know each other more deeply, and figure out, like, yo, are you my connection or what? Are you ready to love or not? Or do I need to be up out of here?
Hell no.
So he said that's going to be basically their little last hurrah. So we'll see, y'all. And that's where that episode ends. And scene. So yeah, y'all, I would give this episode, I'm going to give it an 8. I thought it was good. You know, I thought that them meeting their connections, families was definitely needed. This whole LeRon and Maya thing, absolutely not. That has to go. He got to go. He's disrespectful to women and he's jealous. These are all bad signs, Maya, that you need to get the heck up out of there and roll on. You already know what the signs are because you've been in those situations before, and you don't need to be in it ever again. LeRon is disrespectful. He needs to go. And I'm even surprised that he even lasted this long. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So, and also too, y'all, in this episode where the ladies were at the lounge, Maya's telling Tommy what happened that night, right? So Tommy asked the other ladies, like, have y'all seen signs of this from LeRon? And so they're like, yeah, we've seen it. So she ain't lying about what happened. So yeah, that just tells you right there. He does that with women, period. And he needs to go. Like, no, I was so mad, y'all, hearing about that. Like, absolutely not. But anyway, y'all, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another recap. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can be informed whenever I upload a new video. Also, too, comment below. Tell me your thoughts on this week's past episode. What y'all think about that whole encounter with Maya and LeRon? What y'all think about Chaz? I'm curious to know y'all thoughts. Maybe it's a little bit different from my opinion of him, but just curious to see. And guys, tell me your predictions about who is going to make it to the end in the season finale next week. So I don't know, y'all. I really can't even I don't know if I have any predictions because I don't really know. I don't feel like I really truly know. So I'm not even going to try and predict. But anyway, y'all, thank you so much. And as always, I'd love to say a prayer over you. And so here it goes. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you his peace and protection. This is my prayer over your life in Jesus' name. Amen. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in my next recap. And yeah, bye.